Hello and welcome back to Last Year, perhaps the most impractical podcast on the planet. Today we have a guest who has been sick since like Thanksgiving. Ladies and gentlemen, my sister Amelia Hart. You're definitely our most reoccurring guest at this point.
Let's
is this
go!
number 3 or something?
This is my favorite podcast that I've ever been on.
Well, thank you. That's so kind.
By a long shot.
So first and foremost, I wanted to thank the Con family for allowing us this location and also for, once again, their unmatched hospitality. It's like
Monet for
insane.
Her beautiful.
Yes, Monet. She's been a terrific housemate and host, yes. Yeah, they literally made me multiple meals in like snack bags and stuff. So I really appreciate it and I hope your trip is going well. So I thought that we should start doing this thing where we say like what's going on right now in the world because like we haven't really done a good job of that. So we're gonna rapid fire. So we're gonna go like back and forth and just say something going on in the world.
Yeah, I like this idea.
Would you like to start?
Yeah, okay. Oh my gosh. Wait. I could. So this is just like a random thing that's going on right now.
Sorry, but part of it I think we should only do like in two or three words or something.
Okay.
And then.
Okay. New party in New Mexico.
Okay. Fire in LA.
Unrivaled begins this week.
Apparently there's a serial killer on the loose in Albuquerque.
It's crazy because I feel like I know so much is going on.
I can name a few more.
Okay, yeah, go for it. And if I can think of anything else,
okay.
I'll
Mr. Beast now has more subscribers than the population of the U.S.
He helped like 200,000 people.
2,000
walk again, which is crazy. Actually, like
it's crazy.
Gave them prosthetics.
David Dobrik returned to YouTube. I don't know. Do you know who he is?
I do.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't just go off of like what I've heard, so I don't know.
Okay. Minecraft 2 has kind of been announced.
Ooh, Zendaya and Tom Holland, is that who she's dating? Mm-hmm. Got engaged.
Oh yeah. TikTok might shut down in like less than a week.
I know. I don't believe it.
I don't know if it will. Like, I'm still seeing stuff saying that like it will because nobody's bought it or something.
And I think it's because they're like everyone's trying to say like China don't sell out to America because Anyway.
I hope they don't. I mean, like I hope it doesn't go under.
Me too. I actually saw a lot of like people who came from YouTube saying though that they hope it does go away because they want to go back to making longer content.
That's cool.
And I was like, I don't want it to go away either.
I think it's like all social media platforms have the short form content now, so it's like I don't think that's gonna really solve it, I
completely agree with you. And then on top of it too, like I just feel like TikTok like opened up so many like new. I don't know. It's just like please don't take it away. I don't know. It's like better than Google.
Would you say you use it like every day?
Yes.
And is it like because I guess I have a different experience. I just don't use it much.
Okay.
But like from what I understand, you learn a lot.
I did not like when it started. I didn't use it a lot, and then I slowly started using it more, and then I really like it now that it's not so much like dancing stuff. It's like genuinely like whatever path you decide to go down, you can learn stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool. Like I literally told Mom this the other day because she had like this young girl who came and asked like, what happens if they like bury my mom before she's actually dead? Like I'm not kidding. Like a little girl asked
like
that.
at school?
Oh, her grandma. She asked about her grandma. Yeah. And I was able to tell Mom that literally not that long ago we were burying people with not bells, but like a string. It was a metal rod though that would tie around your toe, and it would go 6 feet up into the cemetery and attach to a bell. If there was any movement underneath, they would dig you. And there were people who were buried alive.
That's terrifying.
I know. But obviously with our medical, like I don't think we would let that happen nowadays. But
I would hope not. Yeah. You never know.
Jeez. But, so that was pretty crazy.
Is that like the last big thing you've learned on there?
No, I learned that a long time ago. I've learned so many like just countless things. It's crazy. I don't even know like where I would start. I even learned about the Canadian government system Do you know anything about it?
Mm-mm.
It's crazy. It literally, I have no idea how they're considered like a first world country based on how they run their government. Yes, it's it like basically at any time it could either become a dictatorship or like a power. Yeah, I'm not.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Yeah. Anyway, so.
Jeez. Oh yeah. So your ring. This is what? Is it like 2 weeks since you've had it?
I can actually check exactly. Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Maybe like a few more days, but I have seen that. Well, I don't know. I'm still gonna give it the full month, and I'm not gonna get rid of it. I really like the data that it gives me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's all I have to say. And I think Mom really used hers wrong. If she's reporting all of the stuff correctly, then like I'm shocked and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because we were gonna get it all at the same time, and then I got cold feet, and then you like convinced me, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it, and then again I was like,
no, I would wait. I think that's a smart.
Yeah, I just want to see what you guys think, but has it been helpful? Like, have you been able to get better sleep?
Yes.
Or like.
Actually, I even changed my like bedtime on my health settings. I don't know if you have a set bedtime or anything like.
I do, but I don't really use it.
Yeah, and I wasn't using it at all until this ring, and like I don't even have my Apple Watch anymore. I mean, I have it, but I literally wear it like consistently all the time, but I've not worn it since really having this ring because the ring sends all the data to my watch and also to my phone. And on that walk we took, I ended up getting all the data. Once we got back 5 minutes later, it asked me like had I just gone walking and had I had sun exposure and was it this long, and it showed me all the details like broken down. And Mom's didn't do it for her unless
so
she just
weird.
didn't tell me, but I don't know. And yeah, basically it gave me like so much data about our thing, and I was worried at first it wasn't because I left my phone behind. And it said like at first like trying to connect, but I never bring my phone on runs and it does everything like, and I have brought my Apple Watch on workouts to like just get an extra set of like data because it all syncs together. But like for instance like the sleep stuff on this has unlocked a lot more health data for me. And like, yeah, so basically I take ADHD meds sometimes. And so the caffeine / stimulants, I don't drink caffeine and I don't eat anything with caffeine in it. I don't like coffee at all. So like that's not helpful for me, but the stimulants thing is because it tells me when I can take it in the daytime to best maximize my ability to fall asleep in the nighttime.
Cool. That's nice.
And to have the best reaction to it based on how I've been taking it with this ring so far, which is insanely cool. So I've been able to like apply for schools, like I've been getting way more done. I'm way more well rested / I know when I need a nap because it says like I didn't get like 45 minutes of sleep that previous night of how much I needed to get. And no, go ahead.
No, sorry.
And like for me it has been like insane. Like I can't even express to you, like I could literally be laying down in the exact same position all day under a hot blanket or under a heating pad or in the sun or on ice or something. Because when I was sick, I was having ice on my head and and it didn't like measure that. It still said like your skin temperature is hot or whatever. But like yeah, like if I could lay down all day in the same position and nap twice that day, it would know exactly when those naps were and be precise, like spot on. And Elijah, that's like the one thing that's been crazy to him too. He's like how could this little thing have that much sensitivity? Like I don't know, it has just been pretty insane. And in that aspect I like it way more than my watch because it's not as chunky and it gives me so much more. And then on top of it, the battery life is the other thing that is absurd to me, and it literally lasts longer than 6 days, and then it only takes like 3 hours to really fully charge.
Wow.
I know. And the only thing that it's like I wish it had is, and like this would be like I would have to like, I think I probably will like end up giving my Apple Watch to Elijah and getting a Garmin because I just for running and like everything is just so much better. Like it also only has one button for start and stop, so you don't have to like scroll around and stuff, and then like it's a little cooler. Anyway, getting off the point a little bit, but I really think this is cool. I just wish it would like send me messages / like I'd be able to like tell where, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it does everything it needs to do in my opinion. And I can show you the data too. Like just really
Okay,
cool.
sure. Also, I totally wait. What were you like? Like when I was like, like what were you saying?
About laying down all day and heat and cool.
Huh. Okay.
And the ring still picked up my proper skin temperature.
Yeah.
And it's skin temperature, so it's not going to be your body temperature. So it measures different.
I remember. Sorry.
Go for it.
So like, okay, yeah, that was like the one little thing I had, like the one issue I had with this is that it like tracks your sleep debt, right? But I thought I learned recently that that's like not true. Like that's not really how it works. But
That you can't make up your
Yeah.
sleep. Yes, I agree with that. But it still tells me how well I did resting in that. Like you can scroll around and like see. You can like click on the sleep and it will tell you more. I also have things that I haven't added because like.
Yeah, that's super cool.
And last night I did not sleep very well. You can tell.
But it still says good.
Yeah. I'm sleeping
Top
in the
10
top 10.
percentile.
I know, right?
That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
I was getting like I was like sleep samurai. That's what they were calling me for because I was like so tired when I was sick.
That's funny. Yeah, that's one of the biggest pulls for me. It's like all that sleep stuff.
So you can see I I hit deep sleep for a very short amount of time last night, and I can totally tell. Like, yeah, literally.
For like 20 seconds.
It was
Is that 4 minutes?
5 minutes.
Wow.
And then you can see like my tosses and
Wow.
turns there. It was 1 right there.
Oh wow.
And you can like read about all of it, and like then you can also see your dream cycles. If that
What
makes
was
sense.
happening there?
I was awake watching
okay.
shows. I didn't fall asleep until around 2 last night. Or I guess I fell asleep at, what time is that? Oh, we have 1. And then, yeah, I just think that's...
That's pretty cool. It's funny.
Oh, I had
'cause-
7 full sleep cycles.
Okay.
And 5 partial.
Wow. And what are you supposed, like how many sleep cycles are you supposed to have?
Maybe 12. We can
Oh
see.
wow. I did not realize that. I thought it'd be like 1. Yeah, 90 minutes. My heart rate would definitely be like so much slower. Which
Yeah,
is
mom's
so funny.
is different as well. Hers
Yeah.
is a lot higher.
I mean, not so much lower, but a little bit. That's cool. So,
Yeah, and I am so alert in the mornings. It's crazy.
Huh.
And so that's just the sleep index. So then you can do that for literally everything, like checking. And yeah, you can see like all just so much craziness. And you
Wow.
can see like how stressed or stimulated you are and like what times are good, like doing work times. And then it will also give me like a notification, like maybe a few hours before my bedtime is set or whatever, of like maybe don't like eat this types of food today or expose yourself to light starting or like bright light starting at this time or whatever to like get the proper amount of sleep
That's
and
cool.
fall asleep on time.
this,
And also like my cardio age finally, since I'm not sick anymore, because it was at like it was at 24 again after not working out for so long, but I've been doing more, so now there.
that's cool.
And then
I was gonna say I'm like 12 years old or something.
I know, yeah. And then you could see too, like when I shared it with mom just so I could like see her
Yeah.
stuff just for the day, because it was Jody, Amelia, and Bennett, but then you
That's
weren't there.
Awkward.
But but yeah, and then here you can see like the battery life. I haven't charged it since, when was the day before we went walking?
It was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, so I charged it like 2 or 3 days ago. And
Okay.
it's at 62%, not
Okay,
low power
wow.
mode or anything.
So speaking about like tracking health and being healthy and stuff. Okay, so there's this guy and
I didn't send you the run.
What?
I didn't send you a run last night.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, there's this guy.
There's this guy and I before I tell you who he is, I just have a feeling that most people in my life are going to have a negative reaction to this person.
Okay.
But to me, it's like, that makes me feel like I'm insane. So I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case.
Okay.
So his name is Brian Johnson, and he has spent the last few years of his life. Let me go back a little more.
Okay.
So he, for the first, I don't even know, like 25, 30, 35 years of his life, he was like just trying to make a ton of money and whatever. I think he was like a CEO, and he was very successful. And I think he sold his company for like a ridiculous amount of money.
Okay.
And so but he was like extremely depressed, and so he started to just like change his entire focus of life, and he started trying to become as healthy as he could, and he had all this money, so yeah, he just wanted to go all in on health. So he became basically the most measured man on in the world, and poured all this money into tracking every tiny thing from like you know, what he eats to like his skin to like his organs to like just all these tiny things.
Did you tell me a bit about him in Colorado? Like he was doing some vitamin like.
I don't know, but he does. He takes like dozens of vitamins a day,
Okay, I think
and he has like a mix and
continue
stuff.
telling me though, because it was like it's a little fuzzy for me.
And so, yeah, I don't know exactly what this means, but a normal person ages at like normal speed, right?
Yeah.
like at one. Somehow he's aging at like 0.6. So he's aging like half as fast as everybody else.
Where does he live?
I don't know, but like he has everything he needs with him. It's all like in his house, you know. It's all in house.
Just ran a stockpile.
But I think it's really cool because
Totally
he's
cool.
now sharing the knowledge with everybody on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
And he shares all of the data, everything that's worked, everything that hasn't worked, like. And his slogan, this is the part that I think for some reason people aren't gonna like, but it's "Don't die." And so his whole thing is trying to live as long and as healthy as you possibly can.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so first I'll say to each his own, like good, like that's awesome. And I wonder how like tailored it is to specifically him. Like I wonder if like he had a gluten intolerance, if it would mess all that up because like vitamins have gluten. But whatever, like I'm just saying about that. But then also like respectable to be that committed to something and like to stay on top of all of that. That's really hard. And then the only third thing I would say is like unless he's trying to like market like an entire lifestyle as like you have to pay for the next level and then the next level, then that seems a little sus.
Yeah.
But other than that, like no, good, like that's awesome.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like it is right now, it is like the subscription for the it's just like this mix of stuff, so you only take this powder and a drink and then like 2 or 3 pills or something like that.
He's made it so like compact.
Yeah, and that it'll work for most people, and there are some things that aren't going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's just like, he measures everything, and his sleep, for example, I think he's had like a perfect night of sleep for the last 9 months or something like that.
That's crazy.
And sleep is like so important.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, it just I feel like the ring is like an example where everybody's able to get up to this level of like, I can measure one of the most important things.
It made it way more accessible to the public because now we have access to the data that we need, I guess, a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super interested to like see. I'm curious too about what his thoughts are on the supplement. It's called like NAD, NAD. Have you seen anything about it? I've seen it all over TikTok, but it bugs me because it's always like, but get at NAD or like, you know, the end of the, like it's always turned out to be an ad or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it is also, it's like a supplement and it's all vitamins that are based around aging and like, it's I don't know if he does, like that would be interesting for him to see.
Yeah.
But why don't people like why is it like not like,
well,
why
I don't know.
it?
Well,
That doesn't make sense to me.
I just have a feeling like I feel like, let's see, I don't know, like.
But his motto.
Like if I were to tell Sean,
Yeah.
that this guy's like trying not to die or something, he'd be like, oh my god, like that's so dumb or whatever. Maybe not. I don't know.
I guess I could see like the realistic being like, come on, like that's like whatever, you know what I mean, of like the science, like you're there in and out of every day, but it's just like that's like his attempt, you know what I mean, he's just trying to expand life healthier for people. It's not like just literally don't die, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
But I could see it being taken like literally and just it's like, dude, like everyone's gonna die, like.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know, do you think there will be a point where people have the option to not die?
It is kind of like, I mean, there are already like laboratories that preserve the human body in perfect health and like, well, not obviously but in perfect death condition to come back to life. Like there
Didn't
are
like Walt
laboratories.
Disney do that or no? I think his head is like in a freezer.
I don't know. I'm sure there are some famous people somewhere that has done
Uh-huh.
it, but like I know there are like people who preserve their bodies for the hope that there will be a science that they can like continue on. But I think that could become very depressing and scary, like living forever.
Uh-huh. I don't know. To me, like, like I feel like that's just as scary as anything else. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But do you think it'll happen though?
I mean, I can't cut out the possibility. Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. And,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Maybe I'm only saying it would be depressing because that's what everyone else has always said.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe if you were able to like continue on living in perfect health, it wouldn't be so bad. Instead of, because like, you know, like once you're like 100 years old and your eyes aren't working and your skin is coming off and you're in pain, most people are like ready to
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
that was a good life. Like,
But if you could become like a cyborg
or
or a
but-
robot,
yeah, or if you're still
in
in
the
like
internet.
20-year-old health and your body is like kicking awesome, why the heck would you be like, okay,
Yeah, and I don't know, like.
and your family is still around because potentially everyone's living, so what's
Yeah.
like you haven't lost anything.
Yeah.
So. But then that's also really weird because you haven't lost anything and there's no, like I'm sure people would become way crazier because you can't die.
Yeah, it's
So,
hard
like,
to say like
instead
what
of
would
like
happen.
childhood wrestling, it would be like childhood murders. Like how many kids have you murdered by 5th grade? Or, like,
Yeah, true.
yeah, I think there's probably a lot of books about that.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, have you looked into Scientology at all? Like, I'm reading a book about it right now, and it's crazy. It is kind of like.
Is that the idea or no?
It's basically that your body is something called a thetan, and it's. Or we are all thetans, and your body is just the meat that it inhabits while it's
So
it's
is
there.
it kind of like a different word for a soul?
Kind of, but they don't. They just believe that like we have all like basically children are treated as adults because they have already been through like lifetimes and like literally like lots of lifetimes. So they are like this 5-year-old girl was the doctor. Like I'm not kidding.
Wow.
They everything up until stitches they allowed her to do, giving medications to people. She literally is writing this book and she's like, I am mortified at how many people might have lasting illnesses due to my
Okay.
neglect as
Well, I
a
was gonna-
5 to 7-year-old being the on-call doctor.
I was gonna ask, like, did it work? Like,
Her being the doctor?
uh-huh.
No.
Okay.
No. Like, because there was like I mean they tried and like you like in my head like because I'm also like on my own, I don't know if you call it studying, but I just finished Sherry Frankie's book that came out on her mom Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt, who had their son ran away from them in Utah. Well, Frankie's youngest son ran away and the neighbor called the police. He was found like skin and bones duct taped around his ankles.
Oh, you're talking about like the vlog family?
Yes, the 8 passengers. And I just read the daughter's book. It came out on the 7th.
Okay.
And I finished it in like 3 days. Very, very good. And she is still a Mormon, so interesting. But also, it's really interesting because she removed herself out of another cult called Connections. And she's able to like see the issue with Connections, but she still finds comfort in Mormonism. Which it's a really interesting thing, and she doesn't talk about that really, but she does talk about like it's crazy. I've been studying so much about like cult stuff recently, and like yeah, it is insane. Like, do you know about the Heaven's Gate cult?
No, but also I just have a question real quick. Like, this is gonna sound so dumb, but like the difference between like a cult and a religion is
Very thin lines.
Okay.
But it's basically the difference between, I don't know, you can't even really argue that this is a difference, but it's where like there is somebody that is living or recently alive that people worship as a god or a prophet and pretty much dedicate their lives to. And it's the difference. I would say the biggest difference is religion. See, I don't know
Maybe
how you
it's-
can really make
maybe
it.
it's more like religion is more it's like a big circle, and then maybe
But
a cult's
so
like
is a
a circle
cult.
inside of
It
it.
can be
So it can be different. It like
Cults are very
so it could be like a cult but not a religion.
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
And
so
that's
it's more
what
like
that's even what Scientology is. They don't
It's
have a
what?
god, they don't
Okay.
pray, they don't like Jesus Christ and God and heaven and hell. That is not anything that
So
they believe in.
again, another dumb question, but
But it's a religion because of tax benefits. That's the only reason.
But so is a religion has to be like there's a god or something? Like
No.
So what makes a religion a religion?
A group of people that have a similar belief, and not even a group of people, just somebody believing in something.
But then why? Like
theology is crazy.
But would like are like Democrats or Republicans like
a religion? You could argue that.
I'm just confused. I need to like.
I can define it to you as. Do you want me to look up the definition of a cult?
Sure.
Okay, because
I'll look up religion.
Yeah. And yeah, this is an interesting question. I oftentimes think about this as well. Okay. Would you like to read the definition of cult first, or of religion first,
Okay,
and then I'll read?
Okay, so this is according to Oxford Languages Dictionary. The belief in and worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods.
Okay, so the religion is tied to God. There you go. That you were correct. And then a cult is a system of, and I don't want to use the word that they used, but it is the Oxford language, so I'll just say it. But it's a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. So, like, it's very freaking similar.
Wait, and so why do cults have such a bad like
connotation?
Yeah.
Because typically where people draw the line.
So,
Oh well, so it's just and this is where I get like it's hard for me too, but it's literally the devotion and the isolation and the mind game. But that's why it's weird, because it's like you indoctrinate kids into Judaism, into Christianity, like us going to Sunday school or growing up in a temple or growing up in a church. We were indoctrinated literally into that, even though it might have been like like not so cool, like, but it like whatever. But the difference is that like in most cults that are dangerous cults, they require you to isolate yourself completely and then slowly start taking things away, giving like certain people that are close to the power more power over each, and it turns into a tattletale system where everyone is holding each other accountable because they all want to get to the better level, but they also want to be better than their peers. So let's say like I don't like you and I think you woke up 5 minutes past 5 a.m. when we're all supposed to be up at 5 a.m. I'm going to go report to my supervisor and let them know that, hey, Bennett slept in 5 minutes today, and I might get a merit even if it's not true, and you'll get a demotion or something. Like, so it's just like it become, and then usually they'll say like you shouldn't really talk to people who aren't in the cult or in our religion because they don't share the same beliefs. They won't understand how special our thinking is. They don't understand like the innocence we have, or they won't allow you to. They'll try and convince you that we're not doing good for you. They'll try and like anyone who's trying to talk you out of this is a bad spirit and a bad soul, so stay away. So that's what happened to our uncle. So he was alone at college and stressed and tired, and somebody came to him and was like, hey, come to this meeting. And they ended up controlling his sleep schedule, what he could and couldn't eat. And then he was like motivated to like maybe get a little, like 1 more hour of sleep at night. So if he recruited 1 more person, he could sleep 1 more hour or something like that. He was even like our grandpa, you can edit this in or keep it, it's totally fine. Really actually hired somebody to kidnap our uncle out of the cult, and it's something called deprogramming. It's literally called that. It's the process of coming out of a cult, and like people, as much as people might want to believe that you have to be weak of mind to get into a cult, some of the most well-educated people go into cults because it has nothing to do with education and everything to do with looking for a place to belong. And then what happens is it like, I don't know if you understand, like, and I don't mean this as like you might not understand, but if you understand like domestic violence and the like not wanting to leave because the fear of not finding someone better, the fear of financial, like whatever the reason is exactly why you stay in a cult, because your money becomes tied up in it, whether you're tithing 80% of your income, which is already probably like a job where most cults, they'll own the business that you work for, and then they will fire you. So you apply for unemployment, you're making money from the government, but they still keep you working there for no money, and they take your unemployment checks at that point. So all of your money is going to the church or whatever organization. So most people, once they're that tied in, and God forbid you have a child in it or something, and you might not be able to see your child every day, or you put your child in the daycare and they have control of where your child is and how well you're doing or whatever it is. So it gets really scary and hard to get out of at that point. But yeah, so sorry to take such a detour, but it's so interesting, like, because I always thought, like, how could, like, it's so obvious to me, like, why would you just trust, like, some white woman on the street being like, oh, well, the truth is just a distortion. And she, like, Jodi Hildebrandt, literally on YouTube, there's a video of her in her flip-flops, like really fat, sweating, and, like, chopping down, like, a bush in Utah desert and being like, this is distortion, and these roots show the truths that come out of the distortion, and you must follow them and dig them out from the like being crazy. And it's like, why would anybody follow that? No, professors, lawyers, accountants, and she was being she has a license as a therapist. She was being recommended as the Mormon therapist in Utah. Like, so it's just, I don't know. If you are confident and you talk a good talk, people will listen to you, especially people who are looking for a place to fit in and find, like, other people who are similar feeling. Yeah. It's just interesting. And then, so, like, I don't know if you want to hear a little bit about the Heaven's Gate cult or just what happened to them. It was this couple named Dot and Pat or something. Like, Dot was the woman, and I don't remember the man's name, but basically, somehow they got, like, I think 500, or no, 40 people. 40 people to stay with them for, like, maybe upwards of 10 years, but I know at least for 5 in the wilderness with nothing, preparing for a UFO to come take them to heaven. Like, just, and these were very educated people. And when finally the woman, like the leader woman, passed away, and, like, they were like, well, you guys have promised both in 2000 and, like, 2002, all these times that this UFO is coming, and, like, God had told them, and it never did. And so what ended up happening is the male leader was like, actually, our female leader did make it to Heaven's Gate. She just figured out a different way, and she just, like, she had to leave her human body. So what he had them do is, this is where the saying, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Actually, it comes from Jonestown, because Jonestown's don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't get my words wrong. This one is where they had one nurse who was part of this cult, and she cut the balls off of the last members that were male. Wow. And they begged for it. And that was how crazy this cult had gotten. Wow. 2 men left at that point. They were like, what the heck has this become? And 7 more stepped forward. And then 2 got into a fight about who would go first. And there was no anesthesia. It was in the garage of somewhere. This nurse just claimed she could do it. He almost bled to death. And then the rest of them still did it, but at a doctor's office. It's called, like, an olostomy or something. But just because they thought that this guy was so on to something. Like, he had recruited basically all these kids in, like, their college years that were very smart scientists. Like, and anyway, so this nurse ended up working with this guy and had created a way for them to all die, like, commit suicide in this, like, crazy house. So this man, basically, people say he killed himself and took 39 people and murdered them. But what happened is, these people read his instructions, they ate some pudding, and then they put bags on their heads, laid down, and this is the weird part. They wore the exact same thing. They all had patches on their shoulders and Nike black running shoes, and everyone thought that was, like, a message or something about, like, those are the best shoes, like, some weird shit. But it was literally just because they were the cheapest shoes. And so they did it in groups so that there would be one person left to cover them afterwards, and there was one person left uncovered, which, like, led medical people to believe that she was the person who was the last, and that was the nurse. Basically, they all had chocolate pudding that was, I don't know, something deadly in it, and then they put plastic bags over their head, and then they tied it, and then put masks on over it, and they allowed themselves to asphyxiate and die and choke on their throw up. And then the nurse would come around and unbag them, clean them up, and then put a cover on top of them, and then killed herself and yeah, so that isn't that insane?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is.
So cults are just, and there were, yeah, and actually that one I think there was almost no children, I want to say. The Jonestown one, there was quite a few children, so. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Cults are crazy.
Yeah.
And I now have a great idea from them to do in my future.
Okay.
I just walked around the side of the refrigerator, and I don't know why everyone doesn't freaking do this, or there's not an app to do this. I just realized a multi-million-dollar idea, and I would need your help. Oh my god.
I mean, we have a whole year before this goes public.
Literally,
So.
if we could just create an app where you enter in when you get or when you get vaccines, and then it just keeps track of it for you. Because for my tetanus
You don't think there's
shot,
an app?
no.
I feel like there might
If
be.
there's an app for my records
I
that
think-
I have no.
I think there's like a digital version of like the vaccine cards.
Oh, but I mean for all vaccines,
Oh.
for tetanus,
Okay.
because like you're supposed to get your tetanus every 10
Yeah.
years, and you're supposed to get like whatever.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be interesting? Because like
Yeah.
right now I know I'm maybe due for the tetanus shot, but I have no idea. But I just walked around the side of their thing, and they literally have a printed list of all the vaccines and the last dates of getting them all for each person.
Yeah.
Like, that's so smart.
Yeah, that is smart. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty simple app. Like, I feel like.
I know, right?
Yeah, if you're interested, like, you should definitely you should pursue
Sometimes
that.
I think about that, but I have no idea how to make an app. So.
I mean, you have a year, so get to it. Okay, should we do that one more time? Like,
Yeah.
just naming a bunch of stuff?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I thought you were making the
That one
intro.
was
I was like, I'll be
Yeah,
right
sorry.
back.
I feel weird like that I even redid the intro. Like, but
I think now you have a few to try from. or
yeah,
to,
that's
like,
true.
pick
That's
from.
true. I feel like I need to get better at like being like whatever happens is just like reality, and I shouldn't
Yeah.
overthink it too
And
much.
maybe also like you could like, because I like that you have like the script wrote up, but maybe like every morning and night repeat like the intro that you want to
Oh, that's
have as
smart.
the intro, so it just comes out easily for
Yeah.
you. And then have like the few points that you want to touch on of like thinking the cons or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be a lot more natural. And then probably because like right now I think the only thing I would say like maybe you might want to like fix is when you're ending it, like because like you're kind of like, but I'm sure in one of these takes you have like a good end, like a good way to go into the podcast.
Uh-huh.
But I think maybe if you have like what is the begin, like this is the most practical podcast or what, like I really like that part.
Uh-huh.
And I think if you say it enough and it just rolls off your tongue, it'll be like a great start to and I think it'll make you feel better too, like just more confident going
Yeah,
in.
yeah. I think you're probably right. Yeah.
So.
Apparently, there's a serial killer on the loose.
Oh yeah, what?
Because it's like it's the thing that mom sent us. Like that, it's like that mugshot.
Oh, I thought it was just like a scam going on.
It might be. I don't know. But I've seen from two sources now that it's a guy that's like pretending to be, I don't know, he's saying he's homeless or something, and then like I think he
That
might
is
have
so
or attacked two
creepy.
people or something.
Well, and the thing of like him saying like, "Oh, smell this perfume," and then you pass out and he'll rob you. Like that is so scary.
Yeah.
And also for me, like the day before she sent that to us, I was leaving Did I tell you this story? Or were you?
I don't
No.
think so.
Okay, the day before she sent that to us, I was leaving Whole Foods and I didn't have a cart or a bag or anything, but my arms were full. I had like a carton of eggs and then some stuff from like the hot bar in a box, and my car keys and my phone. So like I don't know. That is not how I should walk out to the parking lot, like for safety purposes, in my opinion. But like, it was like really bright out and there was a lot of people there, and it's Whole Foods, so it's like not like that's sus, you know, like in whatever. But this guy looked at me and he was like very, very dark guy, like very dark black, wearing a tracksuit, and he looks at me, walks by me, and then like turns around and goes, "Hey," and looks at my face and goes, "What ethnicity are you?" And I was like, European? Like, I don't know. And he's like, "Well, I do photography and like I look for models," and I'm like, red flags, red flags. And I was like, "Cool." And I kept walking, and then he goes, "Is this a wine bar? Where's a cool wine tasting spot?" And I was like, "I have no idea." And then I just like got in my car, locked the doors, and I'm like pulling out, like, "I don't care if you're behind me, man." Like, goodbye. But then I read that story and I was like, thank God he didn't ask me to sell any perfume, because I totally would have. Because You know what I mean? Like, it's like somebody says, like, oh, hey, could you smell it? Or, like, I don't know why. Like, maybe that's, like, suspicious on my part. Or I feel like I'm already so aware of people potentially doing bad things. Like, if someone's like, oh, come here, or, like, come closer to me, like, sus or whatever. But, like, I don't know why if someone was like, oh, smell this. I probably would. Like, if it was a candle or a perfume. I don't know. And then, because if I allow myself to be that suspicious, then I'm like, I won't even open my mail, because what if there's, like, I don't know, toxins in there? Like, someone mailed me a toxic mail message, or I don't know, but yeah, no, that's, like, insane.
Yeah, I hope I hope they catch that guy.
I know.
That's not cool.
I mean, if you start looking at the people who, like, the FBI are trying to catch here, or any of the wanted lists that are in Albuquerque, it's horrifying. It's like, really? I need to memorize these people, and like, and then you see, like, from mugshot to mugshot, they look complete, like, you would think, like, it would be recognizable, but, like, drugs and tattoos and hair color change so much about a person's, like, physical appearance. Yeah. So, like, it's, I don't know, it's like, sometimes I think if I saw these people, I wouldn't know, like, what I was doing. Yeah. Or like, what to look for.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture that one guy, because I saw his mugshot multiple times.
I can picture him a little bit. But
he had, like, a buzz cut.
Yeah, I know, and now I don't even know if he had a beard or something, because it was, like, maybe, like, shaved close, but he had, like, black hair.
I thought it was, like, blonde or something.
Yeah, no,
it's hard.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, one person, I don't know, that's insane.
Yeah, that is insane. Okay, well, one thing that I've just been, like, thinking about recently, also, I don't know, I've been thinking about, like value that, like, I'm providing to, like, the one or two people watching this, and, like, it's like weird, like, I've been stressing over it, because, like, I feel bad, like, I feel like what am I doing if not, like, helping in some way? But then I was thinking about it in a different way, where, like, I mean, if anybody is watching this, there must be something, whether it's conscious or not, that they are getting out of this, you know?
Of course.
And that's kind of interesting to think about. And, like, I don't know. I guess it kind of takes the pressure off, but I don't know.
Actually, that is really interesting, because last night I was on Instagram and I randomly found this, like, creator who literally has 3 million followers, and all they've been doing for years on end is making the most realistic portraits out of sushi rolls.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, but who would have thought of that? Like, literally, like, just on a piece of rice, on a sushi, or on a seaweed, they use, like, toppings of sushi to create the most realistic portraits, and then they roll it up.
That's cool.
And some of the videos they play backwards, but they have an audience that loves
it's like,
it. So it's
you never know what's going to resonate.
For everybody. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
I think it's also is, like, comforting to, like, just, like, the more, like, like, sometimes the less that you try, the more authentic you'll be, and then therefore the more, like, real people will find you and connect.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say that, because it's like, well, and then also it's like, the consistency, that is, I think, the second key, and you've already made it past the third podcast, which is or what's it called, statistically not very high. So I think consistency is, like, key, because think about it, like, 10 years ago, did we know anyone that was on TikTok and making millions right now? No. Even 2 years ago, some of the people making millions today? No. They just were consistent and started growing people who liked listening to what they had to say about things. Yeah, and that's true. All you're doing right here, which is really cool in my opinion. And it has, like, another interesting spin that it was all stuff that happened this year, but it's going to be 365 days ago when you post it. Which
it's funny, like, though, because, like, that's, like, the one thing I'm banking on. I'm like, like, this is a year ago. Look how cool this is.
You should also be confident in the consistency that you're doing right now, because, like, you're going to have so much content to, like, do whatever the heck you want. Whether it be, like, having like, maybe, who knows, maybe one of these podcasts will predict something that does actually happen, and you can flash it forward. Like, you know, like, you're going to have so much content to pull from all of this stuff. Yeah, that's true. I think, like, even that you should be like, okay, like, one solid year or even 6 months of, like, this I don't know, like, I think that's really admirable. Well,
thanks.
Yeah, I totally think that that's awesome. And then Also, I'll just say this on camera, but I need to send a run to you tonight of some, if there is, so that we can just have the option of participating in it.
Oh yeah. Okay. When you said that earlier, I thought you were talking about like a run you went on or something.
Oh no, I haven't run this year.
Yeah.
Because I think
actually,
same.
Oh,
I have. I've run twice this year, but it's been on a treadmill.
Okay.
Because it's been like so cold outside.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna look though, because I think that would also make like a cool, like you could throw in like a clip of us like doing a run every month or
true,
something.
true.
Like.
Yeah, I feel like I've recently tried not to make predictions about myself just because it's like oh god, like this could age terribly, you know. But like at the same time, like I don't know, it's pretty cool to be like very confident. And
that's why I would never ever say that I would run a marathon before I ran the marathon. I would never ever 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 out loud say I think I want to run a marathon one day, because I didn't want to let myself down. But then when I actually ran it, I was like, yes, I did it.
That's
but I
cool.
didn't set a goal that I didn't know if I was going to accomplish and let myself down or something.
To me, the wording is like so important. Like I would totally say I want to run it someday. I might not say like I will run it someday.
Yeah, and for me, I don't want, like, I don't want to say anything, because it's like, I guess, okay, yes, I would like to run a marathon again. I don't know if I want to or if I will, and I'm not going to commit to anything.
I think that I will run a marathon in 2025, so.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope one day I'll run one in New York, Hawaii, and Alaska.
Yeah, I think New York would be the coolest.
The Alaska one looks really crazy, but also insanely boring, because basically the entire time there's obviously no spectators, and also you're literally just running in the middle of the, like, I don't know, what's the opposite of a desert?
Arctic tundra, I guess.
But it doesn't, I don't know I guess a tundra to me, I'm like envisioning like, what? Yeah, it's probably tundra, because I'm envisioning like Ice Age.
That's funny. Okay, I just have like a few random things. Awesome. Do you think that a person's wealth is actually correlated to how they laugh? Because I've seen this meme.
Their wealth is correlated to how they laugh or how often?
How they laugh. Because have you seen the videos of like Jeff Bezos like laughing like a villain? He's like it's like progressed over time, like at least from the videos I've seen. Like it started as like kind of like a chuckle, and then it's like straight up like a
cackle.
It's like a very like menacing like strong grand laugh.
You know what? I will say quite possibly, because I think everything about the way you carry yourself and sound and are perceived by the outside people, so that's hearing, sight, smell, clothing, the way you spend your money, the way you do things.
Do you think it's like intentional though, or just natural? Like, do you think it's maybe you
well,
feel so secure?
I think what happens is it becomes natural to you once you've tested the waters and you see how people respond to it, what's most successful in the world, and then you grow with that, and that's how you...
Yeah, I guess I was kind of interested because, like, to me, I was, like, almost wondering if it's, like, a biological thing where you're just so, like, you're not scared, like...
I think it has to do with, what's it called? Oh my god. It's something about confirmation bias, but it's, like, unintentional, you don't know, it's like involuntary, unconventional, or it's basically where you're trusting everyone else around you and the social cues they're giving you / the success that you're receiving to continue acting and being the being you are. Does that make sense? So like
Kinda.
That laugh, it's getting him somewhere, and even if it's not a conscious thing by any means, it's the societal like perception and giving this guy is a really important guy, and giving him all of the like little tiny like because think about it, a rich person versus a poor person, the ways that they're treated are just astronomically different. Like even by like a 5-year-old is going to treat someone in a suit with more respect than they're going to treat their mother, you know what I mean? Like, or a police officer is probably going to command more respect at that age than like a chef. Like, you know, you're probably gonna, like, so a kid might be more scared to run towards someone that has a gun on them versus a chef.
Yeah.
But
With
that's
a knife,
just,
though.
but that's all just so like societal at that point because they don't know a gun is really going to kill them. It's just a scary big person wearing a black suit versus someone wearing a white puffy hat and you know what I mean? Like so, but and that just has to do with at that age. That's how you perceive the world. And it's unconscious, but it's still like what you have been given as a safety is not that big man wearing that suit. It's a puffy white, like
with
squishy
a grandiose laugh.
But at that
belly.
point, that it's what has been recognized by people as I'm sure they laugh back at him and they enjoy it with him. But maybe that is how it started of a little evil and like you know what I mean. But he has gotten so much status with that. It has only gotten more into that, and it doesn't have anything to do with what he's thinking. Probably it's just the
So
like the
it's
subconscious.
it's like a subconscious mental thing you think.
Yes, and I think it's a subconscious mental look for acceptance and like what's it called and respect because that's what all humans want.
And it is a pretty like cool laugh, I'll admit. So you're probably right.
But
Like,
I do think that like if you put it on a different face in like the Philippines, it probably wouldn't gain the same. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying. Like, it really has to do with societal. Give back or. Like it's literally like whatever I think of when I think about this is like a radio channel or
like
whatever.
a feedback loop?
Yes, a feedback. It's all just because it's unconscious and it just happens because that's what's built into our society. It's the same reason you don't walk into an elevator when there's people there and remain facing them. Because that would be societally uncomfortable. It's a choice we make, but it's still subconscious.
There's this thing, you're just making me think of this one like Kanye quote or I don't know what. But I really like it. He's talking about how, you know, when you're a kid, like you climb up on the coffee table and you're dancing and you think you have like a cape on and you think you're a superhero. Yes. But then they tell you to get off of the coffee table. And so that's just one little bit of programming. And then over the years, there's coffee tables all over the place. There's walls of coffee tables. And that's like the matrix.
And that is like that's what I studied in college is sociology. And that is
that's fascinating.
And when he talks about that programming stuff, it gets a little far into, but it's not wrong at all because as I said, we were indoctrinated into Judaism and it someone at the beginning of like the human race thought of, you know what I mean? So but at the same point, he is completely correct. We are indoctrinating our children into believing what's right and what's wrong and what is socially acceptable and what jobs they can. Because some kids really do want to be a trash truck driver. That is, but we don't really encourage that or say, let's go to college to make you a trash truck driver. Like and it's not respected like that. But it's all our society like telling us that subconsciously. And so what I was going to say though is like that whole deprogramming thing I was talking about earlier. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was.
You can technically argue that our society is a cult and we all follow whatever it is that we think. Like maybe it could be our beauty standard is what our like ethereal god is. But the difference is we're not we are changing our lives to combat our society every day. So I don't know. Maybe we live in a cult. You could argue it all.
That's true.
Sociology is literally that, like arguing anything.
Yeah, I feel like that could be really fun and intriguing and also so
annoying.
Like draining. And
it is. That was literally.
There's no end.
Wow, you literally just had all 4 years of my college experience, or 6 years of my college experience sitting here. That is literally, it was all of that. It was, this is interesting. This is a cool way to look at everything. Oh my God. Okay, yes, you can ask if a cat is a dog and probably say yes somehow, but like, no, it's not. Like, you know what I mean? Scientifically, it's just not. It's the same way when people ask you, like, is 5 more than 1? No, because my fist is bigger than 5 alone. Dog, no. 5 is scientifically bigger than 1. But unless you're asking me, is my fist bigger than 5 individual fingers? Like you know what I mean? Like. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. So I hate when people ask me questions like that because I'm like, well, don't try and make me sound like. Or specifically, when we were in like elementary, middle, or high school, teachers would come in, think they're so clever, and ask like one of those questions where the right answer is very obvious, but the wrong answer is the right answer. And it would drive me crazy because they think they're so clever and like smart and like educated. I'm like, you just asked a question that's like.
Wait, could you give an example? Like
that of, is 5 bigger than 1? No, because 5 individuals on their own is weaker than 1. Like, so like saying, or like being like, is I don't know, just like I remember it quite often, like the smug look that teachers get when they are like satisfied with like, no, it's gonna be this, and why is that? Let's have a whole discussion. I'm like, oh my god, because you are deciding that is the right answer, and you ask the question like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, sorry.
No, I agree. I like when teachers are a little bit more like in depth and they like don't have like a this is the right answer. Like I like if there's discussion and like thinking.
Same. That's like one of my worst downfalls about test taking, especially as I got older, is because I would argue every answer as being correct, and then I would like end up biting my own like hand off at that point because it's like I'm failing myself.
Yeah, actually, just like a few weeks ago when me and Andre were sitting at this table, he told me about a kid in his class who, I don't know. He literally passed out like during a test that they were taking. Like he has some heart condition, and he was so stressed out during this test that he passed out.
Was it a statistics test? Because God, that test was literally like that's probably the last test that I truly remember being like all A through C. Well, actually, no. I guess for math there's slightly more correct answers, but even that statistics, it wasn't really that. It would be like the weirdest. Like I don't know. Drives me crazy. Yeah.
Okay, and then this is another topic that I know I touch on probably way too much, but back to cringe. So I think
it was gonna be Mr. Beast.
I think that I cringe the most at the things that I'm most insecure about. That's just what I've thought, and I wanted you to hear that because I know before. Yeah, you said that the feeling of cringe is real, but it shouldn't dictate what you do.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's possible to just not really experience cringe if you addressed all of your insecurities. Huh. That's just something I'm spitting right now. I don't know if that's...
I mean, and I hate to bring this up because, like, social construct is also, like, the death of me in sociology because everything it boils down to being a social construct. Like, every literal, even a dining room table is a social construct that we created. So, like, it really is a crazy thing. But, I don't know. I'm, like, trying to think if I could like, address all of my insecurities and overcome them, if then I would feel no cringe. But I don't know if that's necessarily true because... little kids, like, at the age of, like, 8 to 11, like, sometimes, like, questions, and yes, maybe reflecting it is because I cringe at myself at that age doing things like that. So, I don't know. I do not have an answer for you.
I kind of think so.
If you could solidly overcome the feeling of cringe.
I think if you could overcome all of your own insecurities, I think that you would overcome cringe because, and, like, some of it's really hard, like, I would be insecure to be like out in the street, like I don't even know, like covered in peanut butter, rolling around like in somebody's front yard. But like, so like if I saw somebody doing that, I might be like, oh my god, that's so cringe. Or they're half-assing this thing and then posting it online, and then like oh, that's cringe. But like I feel like it just all comes from like, me being so worried about what other people think of me.
And for me, I'm almost like, am I just, like, passing off what everyone else says is cringe as, like, what my cringe is? But, like, I don't know. Because when I am thinking about things that do make me cringe, it is like, when I did that, I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe I did that.
Also, there's, like, your example, like, I don't know. I feel like it's very possible to look at, like, an 8-year-old doing just, like, a natural thing that's, like, weird or whatever. Yeah. But, like, I don't think you have to cringe, like, yeah.
Totally. And I think... Yeah, I don't know. That's really interesting to think about.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep talking about this.
Totally do.
So interesting to me. Yeah. And just the other day, you know how you were like, oh, you have grass on you, and like you kindly took it off of me. I've been trying to learn how to do a backflip for like the last few days. I've just been like rolling around in the grass.
Okay.
And one of the days, the neighbors, I could hear they were like, I think they were chopping wood and like bringing it to the back. I don't know what they're doing. And at first I was like, oh my God, this is like I don't want to be like jumping up and down here. Like this could start so many endless like conversations, like so many weird questions, and then I'm gonna have to answer and whatever. But then, so this is a moment where I used ChatGPT, and because I was like, okay, I'm here feeling conflicted. I was like, I want to practice my backflip, but like I'm kind of embarrassed.
Yeah.
And it like gave me the courage. It was like, no, like like you're doing your own thing. Like don't care what people are thinking about you and whatever. And so I took its advice, and I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I pushed through.
And what if they do ask? You might inspire them to try, or they'll
And
be like, oh, I wish
either
I had
way,
done that at that age.
Like, I just feel like whatever they think, it's almost, what's the word? Like,
No.
just not important
Yeah.
because it's like I am very
It's a
glad
moot
that
point.
I practiced that day because I just want to do what I want to do.
And their lasting thought has zero impact.
Yeah.
And nothing it's like the same way I think of like, how can you be so homophobic and not be gay? Because why would you care so much about something that has no effect on your life whatsoever?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that or like
And-
people who want to save you so badly to be like Christian or something, or to join their religion?
And it's I guess I have to think about that because like usually I would think about something like that as and I'll just kind of think through it, but like I think of it as different because it's like if I like like just to simplify it down to like the basic, like if I'm on like a cliff or something, and then there's another cliff, so it's like a ravine or something, like a canyon, and there's like a platform walking across. On the side that I'm on, it's like on fire, and everybody has like a blindfold on, and I like walk across the thing to get away from the fire. Then I would also tell the other people to walk across the thing, and I'd guide them so that they don't burn. And like I don't know, like, so I guess my thought with like religion is, I don't know, it's difficult, but like if you truly think that like they will benefit by doing something, then like I feel like it's not so bad. But also me personally, I wouldn't like force somebody.
I know what you're meaning.
I wouldn't force
because
somebody.
I've seen this animation before of everyone.
Is this actually a thing? I just came up with this on the spot.
And it's a way to describe a cult, actually.
Is it like?
So what it is it's just a line of people, and they are on
We'll put this on
a
screen.
cliff that is burning.
What?
So yeah, and
Bruh, I
the
should
only
be
thing
drawing
is that
these.
everybody is just choosing to jump off one
Uh-huh.
by one. They're all following each other, jumping off into like killing themselves.
So
And
this is
one
interesting.
person decides to walk across the bridge, and across the bridge it's not burning and things are better. And they come and they try and get the other people
Wait.
to. And so some people decide to come with
I think
them.
this is fascinating though because I feel like the cliff or the thing could be the cult or normal society or whatever.
Exactly. And it could also be Christianity, Judaism, Scientology.
And-
So it shows that either we're choosing immediate death or
Well-
we're going to go across to this better side. Kind of.
But to
Or
me-
you're going to a better life option or whatever the heck it is.
yeah.
But it's the fact that it's been so ingrained in us to choose the jump off the cliff for saving ourselves from the fire or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the one person that goes to the other side and sees that it's better on the other side, he can only convince the people who might want to try it because they can't go back once they've crossed.
So okay, wait. Sorry, I'm like
That's
so
okay.
deep in this hypothetical.
I can't believe you came up with that without seeing the
Yeah, that's
video.
pretty funny.
I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah,
I'll find
I
it.
would appreciate that.
If you'll just remind me.
So, I'm so lost. Wait. So, oh yes, but my point is that like I was just thinking, maybe you might not be insecure about yourself. You might just be so secure about yourself that you want to help other people.
Yeah, totally.
And you might not be right,
Exactly.
but you think you're right.
Exactly. And that is honestly Deb, when I was telling her about the book I'm reading about Scientology, and I was like totally shitting all over it. I was like, can you believe people believe this? And she's like, I mean, there's no proof that they're wrong. But like, obviously she's not encouraging me to
but I
like become
agree
a
with her, though,
Scientologist.
like-
But yeah, it is a really like smart thing to think about, because it's like, okay, yeah, then if you think about that, literally all of the things that are possible are still possible, and that's true.
Yeah.
And we cannot, and that is where it's scary.
It
because
is. I
some
should put
people
like a
become-
disclaimer.
Some
Like,
people become
I don't
desperate
want-
for the answer that happens after, and it forces them into these scary, abusive relationships with cults or religion, because they become so caught up in the fact that they think they found this answer is exactly it, and if they don't follow it to the T. So I mean, everything. You do it at your own intensity.
discretion, but
Yeah.
and I don't advise you joining a cult or anything. feel like I should
Yeah.
say that. Also,
and it's always interesting to looking for an answer, but
yeah,
I was
I'm
gonna say
sorry.
something else about cringe too.
Okay, and I'm just gonna check on Monet.
Oh, yeah, please
she'd
do.
usually be in here more, but it's just such a cloudy day that
Oh, yeah.
I think she's sleeping on the
Oh,
bed.
sweet.
If you want, you can feel free to talk to the camera.
Okay, well, I'm gonna remember what I was gonna say to you about
Okay.
old people, but yeah, basically, I will just say this: like, it's totally like okay for people to be like questioning and like looking for like a place and like people that they can relate to, because I feel like especially in our day and age with like social media and stuff, it's hard to connect in person for like new friendships and like deep connections that are lasting. I just find that really true like in our technological day, because I got like this cool experience which I haven't thought about in a long time, but you know, like whenever I would go to camp in the summer at California, I would not have any access to my phone.
That's so cool. And
For a
how old were
whole
you?
month.
Like, you started when you were 13 or something?
I started when I was 8.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's super cool. I feel like that's
And
was
at
probably
that,
really
I
good
went
for you
2
developmentally.
weeks. It was, and I craved that when I would come back here.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I would connect with anybody the same way that I connected with every single one of the kids that was my age, like boy and girl, and we were all very good friends. Like, we always wanted to talk to each other. We always played games. Like, there was never a boring moment. In fact, most of the time we didn't want to go to bed, or we'd be getting up really early to go like do stuff. Like, and it wasn't like a chore in any means. It was like the best freaking time. And like, I wasn't like not that I wasn't like intimidated. Like, the older kids were a little scary, or like I wouldn't run up and talk to them, but it wasn't like I wouldn't talk to anyone because I was scared about everyone and nothing was going to be recorded or I mean, the only thing that was recorded was there'd be one camera for every single age group,
that's
and it
so
would go
cool.
around and like they'd take pictures of us, or we'd take pictures of each other, and that was fun.
Yeah.
But that was the only type of technology that we had.
Yeah.
And that was so freaking like that
Yeah.
gave me the ability to actually understand how people actually really want to always relate to each other, and
Yeah,
how
it's the
much
damn
every
phone.
single person is going through in life. And we just don't get the chance to like actually get that deep with people, because everyone's sharing what they think people want to see on a social media platform. Like, it's sad. I do miss that a lot.
Yeah.
And now even the camp is not the same. You can have your phone, like, because parents want to have access to their kids. But
Yeah.
I got really lucky with that. Like,
Do you think, like, if you have kids, do you think, how would you handle like technology?
so it's
with
like
them?
really hard, because in our day and age, if you don't integrate into being like someone who carries a phone or whatever, you're literally like detached from our society, and you are in a totally different like life. And I'm not saying that as any type of dramatization. Like, you actually cannot get a job without a phone number. Any place that wants to have a stable employee, like, they're not going to hire you if you, one, don't have most times don't have a car. They will not hire you because they want you to have transportation.
Yeah.
And 2, a phone. Which is crazy, because
Yeah.
it's like the people who need, and so just starting at that point and then going to like, oh, if I wanted to play like an intramural league or something, they're going to have a group text, and they're going to have like, you know what I mean? Like, to be a part of it fully and not feel left out in some aspect, I feel like I would feel very much obliged to allow them that. And I don't know how to teach them parameters on that, because I don't even know if I have them for myself.
Do you think you would let them be iPad kids?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I think me too.
Yeah, absolutely fucking not. Because one, I have already seen myself in the past 4 years go from being able to watch things that like YouTube videos and be very, very happy, to wanting to have all of the knowledge in under 10 minutes. And if it's not that, I'm holding down the fast forward thing. And every single child show that has come out in the past 10 years follows the exact same structure, where it changes every 4 seconds, like the visual that the kid is seeing, which creates ADHD. Literally, like, you know, people used to say like, oh, taking this while you're pregnant creates... No. This quick switch of visual things that is engaging to the child, it creates this constant need for a change in visual things, which that's not going to be provided in the world on a normal level of...
Yeah.
So the only way they can seek that, like that satisfaction is through TV shows that are coming out now, get video games and anything on the screen that's going to change all the time.
Yeah.
So it's really sad because if you like a lot of childhood psychologists or whatever, they show on like TikTok videos, YouTube videos, whatever, they'll count like 1, 2, 3, 4, and this like the scene is still talking or something, but it shows again another
it's like
POV.
5 different camera angles.
Yes, literally within that 4 times to show
And
to
so,
keep the engagement. It's crazy.
Like, yeah.
So, but then it's like, okay, I could totally see that being pretty easy for the first maybe 5 years of the kid's life because they're not exposed to it from, like, they're only exposed to what is in the house. And I will probably, like, put my phone away for, like, 8 hours a day. But at that point, it's not even really realistic so there's no house phone or whatever it is. And I want to be able to call 911. But at the same time, like, I'll try not to watch TikToks. But still, like, that iPad thing, once they have friends that are being exposed to that or have an iPad, they're going to want that. And then I'm going to be the bad guy, and they're going to eventually, at some point in their life, want to satisfy that craving. And whether that be at when they're 18, going way over and above and, like, you know what I mean? Becoming like an alcoholic, but for the iPad. Like, so I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's totally an option to like yeah, you'll kind of be like missing out in a little bit, but I feel like you could, replace your phone with real clocks, real alarm clocks, real phones on the walls.
Yes,
like,
I agree. And I don't, for me, it's not even like the missing out. It's that I was the angry child and I experienced a lot of resentment for and some of it was justified and some of it wasn't. But like, for any aspect of my child, like, I know that, or maybe I'll have a great kid that wants to spend a lot of time with their parents and wants to be at home or whatever. But at the same point, I don't want to become like the punishment is you're staying home with us and your friends get to have their Snapchat accounts and maybe this girl's really popular and she wants to have whatever it is. I don't want to be that like nagging, annoying mom that's like, you cannot do this. But at the same time, how do I make it like that's not what they want? Like, you have to provide that, like, something else on, you know what I mean? Like, if it's living next to the beach or whatever the heck it is and like
I think like maybe like personally maybe I wouldn't like totally remove it, like same. I would just but I would definitely want to provide like alternative things that they actually find enjoyable and like make sure they actually like it, like over time, like adjust and like
same. And that's the thing too, like with the I don't want to expose it at 18 and then be crazy about it, but I also don't want to like overexpose at a young age. But I do want them to be able to use it and be part of like life. You know what I mean? But I also don't want to. Yeah. It's, and then also I was gonna go back to the cringe thing really quick. Is just that it's not really about the cringe thing, but it is about how I want to be an adult differently around kids than how I always have experienced adults, even to this day, because I think, I know I still look very young, like I just do, and I get treated like it all the time, which I'm totally fine about. Like, I'm not like, I want to look old by any means. But, like, I do have to realize, or I try to remember, like, I wish I had written more and, like, talked more to a camera growing up, because I wasn't dumb, like, neither were you. Like, I don't think kids are, like, they're just not exposed to as much, but by no means do I think that we should, like, overlook what they have to say or under listen because they're young kids. And all the time growing up, like, from literally everyone, I would always hear, like, oh, like, just enjoy being a kid, you're so young, like, you're just a kid, you guys are kids, like, whatever it was, like, however it was said to me. It was just, it even though every time I would hear it, I'd be like, well, I feel like I still can, like, speak on this, or it did resonate with me a lot, and still to this day now, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm not old enough to think about that, or I'm not old enough to have a good opinion about it that I really understand. And then I'm, like, seeing myself, like, making decisions or, like, acting ways of, like, I probably could be, like, more adulty about this, but I'm scared to, because I'm scared to get laughed at, or, like, people are cringing that I'm trying to act older or something, but I'm just trying to be a human, but it's like people discredit me because they have lived longer than me or something, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and first of all, yeah, I totally know what you're saying, like, so, like, I would validate that, like, not that that's a good thing,
but know.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and, but also I feel like you said something there, which to me, it made it even clearer to me, the connection between, like, your own insecurities and, like, the feeling of cringe, because what you said was people cringing at you for trying to act old or something like that, and, like, that's your own, like, you're projecting that onto other people, it kind
Totally
of,
onto other kids. And if they ask a question, then I'm like, what the heck? Or or even sometimes when they're acting ways that like they've seen other more popular, successful people act, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cringe. But it's like, no, they're just trying to live. So like, why am I the one to decide that that's cringy or not, right? I have no means to say that at all. But then it's like, that's how we have people in the world that like we look to as like smarter people or whatever, because they have claimed that they're more happy and more successful, and we give them more credit or more whatever it is. And so it's like, I don't know, I'm almost like, if I start speaking really confidently this next year, will I just gain money because people want to give it to me and like want to give me their respect? And like, if I start wearing makeup and wearing nicer clothes all the time, I'll probably get like,
I mean, I think confidence is like super, like, can change everything.
And I think this is bringing it all the way back to Jeff Bezos' laugh. Literally trying on an outfit and seeing how people receive me in the public. It's the exact same way of trying on a different voice, or the exact same way Ariana has gotten so slammed for using the Glinda voice 24/7, but she's used it because she wanted to get into a much higher grade of role that usually people with only that Broadway background would get. And a lot of times that musical theater talk is much more pronounced and clear and proper. And so if you notice, that is exactly how she started talking when she started auditioning for this part. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's almost like she mirrored Cynthia Erivo for it. And it is something that, it's called the chameleon effect. Do you know about it?
No.
So it's people you like, you start copying them whether you know it or not. But the closer you are to someone, the more you become mirrored to them.
That's funny.
It's really interesting. So whether that be things you say, the way you like smile,
the way you laugh.
Yes.
It's kind of funny, or it's just like also kind of like the saying, like, you become the 5 people you surround yourselves with.
Yeah, that's literally the chameleon effect.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
But it's you're mirroring what you see as socially acceptable and what you like. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's all of sociology. I'm not even kidding. You could qualify for the degree at this point. Like, nothing
I've learned.
Talk about
cringe for 4
no,
years.
seriously, you could probably do a thesis on cringe.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
No, I know.
It's funny
don't really
though.
Want to.
No, by no means should you.
That's fine. Okay. And then, another thing I wanted, and this kind of came from like wanting to provide some value, you know?
Yeah.
But again, maybe this doesn't even make sense, but do you have any advice, and you could think about this for a minute, any deep advice for people, either just in general or something specific you want to talk about? For me, I have something just for feeling good in life and having a good life. That's what I wrote. So, for one, I think that you should have a spot where you write down your wisdom, like whether that's like typing it or actually writing it. Just like write down your most wise wisdom. Like, I don't know, sometimes, I feel great, and other times not so much. And it's pretty cool to be able to like look at what I wrote down, to kind of get my mind back into a similar mindset, because I think there are like little things, the way that I like think about different things that shape my mindset at a given time. And so like when I'm feeling really good, I try to like, keep that, because I forget so many things.
Yeah.
And so I've already like experienced that where like, I wasn't feeling so good, and I was able to look at that and I was like, I just gotta think about it like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I just feel like it's so powerful, like the stuff that comes from inside as opposed to like external things.
Well, and on top of that, I will say, like, because it's so easy to like see like what you're in and sit there, but it's hard to like zoom out and see all like the other things that are going on that aren't right around you that you're still happy about, or like you know what I mean? So I totally would say yes. And I think that's like really cool. I totally. Oh yeah, I was gonna say this year I was thinking about ordering for myself this type of journal where it's like so I'm going between two different ones. One of them goes for 5 years and the other one's like a year long. And the year long one like prompts you a little bit more and like you write a little bit longer every day. But the 5 year long one looks really cool. And like, you literally just write a few sentences every single day about like what you did
That's
or
cool.
whatever it is. And this is okay, I'm saying so much, but I'll just try and like dial it down into like this really basic weird thing. But Mormons really, really value and try and teach each other to journal every day because they think their own history. Well, and again, I'm not saying that they think, oh, this is just what they think. They think their own histories will be like museum pieces like that. And maybe like Anne Frank's diary became a huge thing. So who knows? But basically, they are taught to record their own histories. And that is literally just, my mom was mean to me, whatever it is. Their parents tell their kids that they have to journal every single day, and all of them keep like journals, and it could be really in depth or whatever. But a lot of them have talked about the ways in which they've been able to go back, and whether that be like, I'm not even kidding, solving murders by like random things they wrote, or just like having that like I wish I had written more as like a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, whatever, because I also think I would have. I mean, I'm not a parent yet, but I also think I would be a better parent if I had the lens of my childhood self talking to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, like, there's so much that I probably only saw and understood as a 9-year-old.
Yeah,
that now my self is jaded. But
and I feel like the important thing to take is, like, kind of like that one quote that I brought up recently, but, like, I mean, if you have a kid, they'll probably end up being 24.
Exactly.
So,
I know. And
so,
I just should start and not like.
And I mean, you could even spit some facts if you want, like to your future self to remind yourself. But
would you be interested in one of those journals or? Not so much?
Honestly, not so much. Okay. But I think it's a really cool idea. Yeah. And I feel like any like journaling and stuff can be really good.
I would say also dream journaling. I would suggest even for like a month when you wake up in the mornings, write down or like voice record like what you remember from your dream, and then later go in and like type it down if you can, or just have the voice recording because like you're so tired. But literally for me, like maybe after like a month of doing it and not even consistently, I started remembering my dreams way better.
Yeah.
So like, and I think I get like info from my dreams, like whether it be like stuff I really have to sit with and like figure out or look up, like because like for instance, like dreaming about your teeth falling out, like that is feeling like you're losing control of everything around you. So when I have those dreams, like I probably know I'm gonna have a panic attack or something, and it's totally spot on. Like, but it's really interesting. Like the more you like listen to your dreams and think about what you're doing.
I actually, I'd say a few years ago, I started writing down my dreams every single day, and I had that experience. And now I don't do it every day, but whenever I have an interesting one, well, sometimes I'll write it down.
Yeah.
But I just had one last night where basically it was like you and me and mom, like Jody, and I think there was like a alien ship or something that crashed, but I think we didn't know if it was real or not, and I just remember like I found it like in a backyard or something, and it looked kind of like a massive like marble like bar top or something, and I remember I was like pretty upset for some reason, but or maybe because I came outside like to show you guys, and like one of you had like put it in a pool or something. I don't know what, but I don't think you guys thought it was real. And then there was this like device that was on it, and it was earlier in the dream there was a fire alarm, and then this device, it was like beeping, and it was saying things like on this button that somehow at a screen it didn't really make sense, but the word would change like once per second, and he was like I am like here, I don't know, like basically saying the aliens have like landed or something. It was really cool.
Have you seen
It's pretty
E.T.?
awesome. I have.
Oh, okay.
But then I woke up and I was like, I hope the like alarm wasn't going off, or
Yeah,
somebody just walked into the house. Like, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, actually, okay. So do you remember my?
That scared you, right? The movie.
Yes, more than anything. I've never watched it again since I was 3. I've never.
I think you
watched
should
it again.
rewatch it.
I don't know.
I think you could get a different perspective.
I recently
on it.
rewatched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang because the kidnapper scared the fuck out of me.
The pirates scared me
Oh, really?
so bad. Yeah, because I was like, oh, well, good, all monsters are fake, but these are real.
And the kidnapper was real too, so like
Yeah.
terrifying. But no, for I should probably watch that movie again. But what was I gonna say?
you're like, I don't know if you knew this or something like that. And I said that, oh yeah, I was like, did somebody just walk into the house? Like, what was I thinking?
What was I going to say? Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I remember. Do you remember about 2 or 3 years ago, it was summer, and Elijah slept over at the Southern house. I don't remember if you were living there or if it was before you moved in, but I think I've told you the story. The AC broke, and it began spitting ice chunks out at us, like extremely big chunks of ice. Wow. And then when we woke up, it was covered in ice. Wow. And it was like dripping.
Jeez.
It was painful. It was like low key a hailstorm with huge chunks of ice.
Above the bed? Or?
Yes, the one that's above the bed. And that one ended up being taken out. Like, I got a new one, whatever. 2 nights ago, we had it on the heating mode, and I'm always really sussed out about, like, well, first of all, because the first one almost fell on us and, like, did drop stuff. And then a part of the wall fell out on us. It's like this metal panel fell on Wiley the other day, so obviously that was terrible, and we duct taped it back. And then, so I've been, like, really cautious of, like, leaving this heater on for too long or whatever, because I'm like, it starts making weird noises. We fell asleep with it on, and I woke up, and it was literally, like, screaming and hissing, and, like, it almost seemed like it was going to melt because the cover is plastic, and I don't think a fan was going, so it was probably overheating. So I turned it off, but once I turned it off, it started, like, hissing and sounding like it might come off, and I didn't want anyone to get burned, so the dogs got off the bed with me. Oh, my God. And I tell Elijah, you need to get up right now, because he's right underneath the heater. He looks at me.
It's like nothing.
I'm laying horizontal. And I was like, I don't care. You have to get up, Elijah. The heater, it's going to break. Do you remember the ice? You need to move. Just move. And I'm starting to, like, pull him. And he's like, Amelia, there's nothing even hanging. And I was like, Elijah, do you see the heater above you? Amelia, you're being silly. Elijah, do you see this? The dogs are freaking out at this point. I'm freaking out. He just continues to lay there and tell me, like, the weirdest crap. And the next morning, I tell him, like, Elijah, I don't know, 1, what we're going to do when we have children, or 2, if there's actually an emergency, because I was very worried about your safety last night, and there was nothing I could have done for 5 minutes. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you're kidding. And he's like, no, I moved up to the top of the bed last night. And I was like, and you almost were injured by the freaking heating thing falling off the wall. What are you talking about? So for 5 minutes, eyes awake, sitting up, talking back to me, saying completely coherent, like, responses to me that were, like, annoying, because I was telling him that, yes, it's hanging on the wall above you, but whatever, like, and he would not move. He would not get up. He would not listen to me. In fact, he went back to sleep. So I was like, what the hell? And then, like, a few months ago, I also almost passed out at like 3 a.m. I got up to go to the bathroom, and, like, I was on the floor by the time he actually woke up. And I was screaming at him. And so I'm like, I will never trust him with a child when he's in that state, because, like, what the hell? Like, it was terrifying. And so he's like feeling so bad now. Like, how am I supposed to work on this? Like, how would I even try to improve this?
Cup of water.
And no, he was like, Amelia, you have my permission to, like, slap me, and I was like, I don't want to slap you. And he's like, well, what am I going to do, like, if there's an intruder or something? And I was like, I don't know. And then I was thinking, like, maybe it's because, like, he wears contacts, so it's, like, hard, because his eyes could be open, but it's still so blurry that there's nothing, like, it's not triggering him enough to wake. I don't know what, but yeah, anyway, so.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more piece of advice
for
nobody's watching. Just kidding, maybe. Okay, also, I recently just heard this from ChatGPT, and it resonated with me. Okay, success often comes from acting on good ideas, not waiting for perfect ones. I think that, like, piece of advice is just, like, really good for me to hear and remind myself, because, like, it is so easy for me to just, like, think about something for so long and, like, yeah, just try to keep, I don't know, like I really, it's so natural for me to want to get to, like, whatever I'm thinking about, get all the way to the end of the line and be like, boom, there's the answer, that's what I'm going for, like, very solid. But I think it oftentimes, like, I just don't really get anywhere, and it's, like, not a good feeling. And so I feel like it's so good to just, okay, well, what are some things that I could actually just, like, do, and, like, just do something good, and then see where you are there, and see what you think. Then do something else good, see something else good.
I would even argue that this podcast and the consistency is, like, totally putting that into play, like, because it's, like, I could see how it could get, like, hard and, like, frustrating if, like, you're not getting a lot of interaction or whatever, but, like, it's still an idea and you're still going with it. And I also feel like, even, like, I think, isn't his name John Chu, who just directed Wicked? I think it was his directing debut, but I can 100% tell you he was probably not happy with the last like cut of it, you know what I mean? Like as the director whose name is going to be stapled all over it, he's probably not. And then he's probably like still second guessing and whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone else thinks it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's literally it's just put your stuff out there and like allow yourself to make those creative choices.
And like for me, it's like because I definitely think like if you have like a masterpiece that you want to spend your entire life on, like that's cool too. But I feel like just for the practical sense, like if you're trying to get momentum or you're trying to live off of something or whatever, like I've heard of this thing like the 85% rule or something, like get to where you're like 85% happy with it and then put it out. But with this, like I don't know, to me this is like a little bit different, like the like taking actions, like ideas that sound good instead of perfect, like I don't know how to describe it, but for me, like that's somehow I think an even more like meaningful like thing to like use in my life. Because it's just like it feels like either I'm gonna be stuck in an infinite loop or I'm actually gonna be doing cool stuff.
Yeah, or
it's
you're gonna be
like,
trying different
to
paths.
me it's so like that makes it like very black and white to me.
That's interesting. I would also just like the quote that you told me is really good like advice, as well as like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and the second best time is tomorrow or today. It was. But like right now, I don't know, I think that's like the best. Like I've been thinking about that so much lately. And then I was gonna say one other thing to you. Crap.
But that's why I like reflecting and stuff, and like like I feel like I'm pretty proud that throughout my life I feel like I've been able to be like very like I'm so grateful for like what's happening like right here, and like that comes and goes, but like I really love being able to do that, and like I guess maybe that's partially like it's fun to like reflect and be like, all right, well then I'm gonna do that again right now.
Totally. Oh, and I remembered what I was gonna say too. This is like the most random piece of knowledge that I have learned recently, and this was not from TikTok. I actually recommend this show on Netflix. It's called Questions You Can't Ask, and basically it's filmed in Australia, and they just take like groups of minorities like and ask them questions you're not supposed to ask them. Like they'll take small people and ask them all these questions, or ex-cons or transgender. Like just
that's awesome.
It's so good. I highly recommend it. But one of them is on like blind people, and one weird thing is, I don't know if you remember, I was telling you like maybe even a year ago, there's this woman who can literally smell if you're going to develop a disease, and I can't remember what disease it is, but it was astronomical in the science world because they found out like dogs can also smell it, like whatever it was, because a husband was smelling, or a wife was smelling her husband, and she was like, you smell so bad, and she was like, but it was like a change, like after like 30 years or something. And her friends were all like, no, he doesn't. He smells normal, whatever. And he went to the doctor and was diagnosed with this. And then they blind tested her, and she was able to like. That's so cool. And the one person she got wrong ended up developing it.
Oh, I see.
Like she said that she was like, they do have it, and the doctor's like, no, she doesn't. Years later, she was proven correct.
That's really
anyway. But so I know this is like way more like different than that, but a lot of blind people report that they can smell when anyone is on their period. Like, isn't that crazy? So that must be a very human like thing. Like back to like really just know like our bodies, like so I don't know, I thought that was really interesting, but I really recommend that show because you learn like it's 4 seasons actually, but it's I don't know, I really like putting it on and like just like having it in the background.
I think that's awesome. Like I feel like anything that like humanizes people and like makes it easier to connect.
Exactly, that is exactly what it is.
That's awesome.
And it gives them like a platform that people will see. So,
okay, and then I also think I have a little section where we just do like predictions.
Okay.
Do you have anything for, let's say, the next year?
Yeah, okay, I don't know if I should like make this prediction, or it's like I guess like something I'm hoping for, and I don't even like know how to say this, but I am like somewhat hopeful that maybe with the new president that's coming somehow, and who freaking knows, because maybe it's just a New Mexico thing, but maybe they'll do like a tax relief or some type of relief check again for like young Americans, or some type of like, because I don't know, just some type of like like if it's more college debt forgiveness or like whatever the heck it is, like some cut will come this year for like young people in America, like, or whether it be like helping us all buy a house, that like young people buy their first house, because that's not a big thing anymore. It's like almost impossible. So I think hopefully that's what I think. I think there'll be some
That's
type
cool.
of like,
That's good.
we'll buy half of it with you, or if you stay in this town for 5 years and send your kid to our like elementary school or to our public schools or whatever it is, like the incentive to. So.
That's cool. That's good.
Do you? I do have another one actually.
Okay, I have one. It's not like super solid, but yeah, it's actually like the opposite of solid. It's like extremely vague actually, but I feel like a lot of like celebrities who have this like kind of mysterious like veil to them, I think it's going to continue to be kind of like disintegrated, which I think is a good thing. But I think I got this from Mr. Beast's game show where he has Lil Yachty on it. I haven't watched that episode yet, but they put out this one clip I thought was so funny. And like, I don't know a whole lot about him, but he's always been somebody that I liked a lot, Lil Yachty. And in the clip, it's like Mr. Beast asks him to give advice to this one contestant, and he's like, it's like, yeah, that looks hard to me or something. And then they kind of like look at each other, and he's like, do you have any advice for blah, blah, blah? And he's like, and it's just silent for like multiple seconds. And then he comes up with something. And like, it's just like a awkward moment that totally humanizes him and like gets rid of this like mysterious, like, oh, this person's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're just like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like they are cool, but just like everybody's cool.
Totally,
like,
totally.
Yeah. And for me, like almost, I feel like, some influencers have done a really good job at bridging the gap by like bringing these like untouchable people down to reality.
I think it's a
Besides the few people that I feel like have maintained that, I think Ariana Grande, I personally think so. Like I look at Instagram and I'm like,
I can tell you why. I have theory on this.
And Drake.
Yeah.
There's not a lot. Like I feel like it's on like one hand. Maybe Kanye. It's really not big, but I feel like it's the very few at the top.
Travis Scott.
Honestly, not as much. I would include him, but I just think that it's the people at the top who have kept themselves very in their own lane, like not collaborating with other people. I've seen like, because the reason I don't say Travis Scott is because I just feel like he appears more. I've seen him like race speed, like the streamer and stuff, and so I feel like I don't include them.
And I include him because he does not expose any of his actual life. Everything he does is a grab at being cooler or participating in something he thinks is awesome. He has 2 children who are under the age of 7. And his baby mama basically is engaged to somebody new, like, and raising his kids.
But 2 things.
But I just have to say that I think the Ariana Grande thing, and I totally agree with that. And I think that's because they don't want any of their actual personal stuff getting out, because it will taint their persona. Well, for instance, Ariana Grande is actually from a like poor little town in Florida, in like southern Florida. Her family would like, they were pretty, I mean, they were kind of actually established there, like, but she doesn't, like, her grandma is Italian, and she really has attached herself onto that, and she portrays a certain thing, and somebody else controls her Instagram. She doesn't post like, I'm at my breakfast table with my dog. No.
Yeah, exactly.
She keeps it very much, this is my Ariana Grande. That's it.
To me, like most celebrities have, kind of, I feel like influencers and the classic like celebrities have totally, like most of them have seen all these opportunities and taken them, and I feel like it's the last few standing that didn't, but like, and I think it makes them look cool. But I don't think it actually makes them cool.
Yeah, oh, totally. And I think Taylor Swift, too, like, she's trying to contain that, or continue that, but, like, now that she has, like, a solid boyfriend, people are a little bit more, like, getting you know what I mean? Like, so it's, like, the walls are coming down a little bit.
And also, like, with Travis Scott, like, just an example is, like, this isn't exactly the same, but yeah, I think that racing speed is a good example of what I'm saying, but also he posted this thing on Instagram that he thought was so cool. And I think a lot of people hated on him, and he got like insecure enough over it to delete it. but like it became such a big meme. It was him like dressed as Batman with like a bunch of cars, and like personally I'm like, yeah, that was actually pretty cool. Like I love Batman, but I feel like him becoming a meme, like, I mean, I guess that's just kind of losing power a little bit, but I don't know. I think that people are going to continue to become more like human appearing.
Totally, I
and
agree.
actually, I think Kanye is about to collab with Kai Cenat. That's something that's happening.
Wow.
It's funny because over the course of the last year, like when Kanye dropped his merch and stuff, Kai tried it on in a stream, but he ordered like a large and he should have had like a small, so the pants just like fall down. And Kanye took that as like a, you know, like as if Kai's starting to start some beef, and so they were not on good terms. But then just like in the last week, Kanye said that Kai should come like meet up with him when he's in Japan or something like that. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally can see that.
Yeah.
That's interesting to think about.
And also, I think it's so cool that we're like, I love talking about like all the like internet stuff and whatever, because I still feel like we're in a pretty baby phase of it all.
Totally.
And like,
Oh my
it's
God.
just like, yeah, like people like Kai Cenat, Speed, Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, Jake Paul. Like I just feel like they're so like like they just have so much like influence and like power, and I feel like it's just gonna I feel like it'll continue to grow. Like streamers, they just like they know what's up. Like,
yeah.
And the fact that like, yeah, Kai for example is about it. Like to me, it's just so cool that he's about to like do something with Kanye.
Yeah.
Like that's like almost doesn't make sense, but it's about to make sense.
Yeah, like he did all the, like he climbed the ladder somehow, and he's found himself in a circle that somehow associated with like it is really interesting. I was gonna say one other thing. Oh, about Travis Scott. Did you watch the WWE on Netflix? Like
I watched a little bit.
Oh, okay. I don't know, and maybe it was like towards.
Oh,
the
is
end.
he there?
Yeah, and he did the dumbest bit. Like they basically had him come out like at the top of the stands and just like stand there with a belt and a huge joint, which he ended up just like dropping. And Elijah was like, I don't know if I like the like joint thing, because it's like you're basically at that point forcing everyone that's around you to like pretty much inhale weed smoke whether they like it or not. And I was like, I never thought about it like that. But yeah, he's like literally just standing next to these two people, just like not passing it to anyone, just
yeah, I mean,
and then he's got one beer in his hand and
it's like
one thing.
I feel like again back to like the cringe insecurity thing or whatever, because like WWE for example, it's like not that I've watched it that much, but I think I probably used to think it was cringe.
So does Elijah.
But like now, I don't know, they're just doing what they love to do. They're entertaining people.
Totally.
And like maybe it's supposed to be kind of cheesy and like whatever. I don't know.
And I think that's like the most humble way to look at everything, because that gives you the gift of being like, wow, everyone's just trying to succeed at something and they're all giving their best effort. And then I think it also opens up more of an appreciation for everything everyone does. Like
yeah.
But yeah.
And I feel like most importantly, like I don't know, very importantly, it makes you feel better. It just makes you feel good, I think. And then because then I just feel like you're not as worried about stuff, and like I feel like the less you're judging other people, the less you're concerned about them judging you.
Exactly. Okay, last thing for me is I just had thought of this really random thing, and it's because I was thinking of like people who do things that are like just random. Like in Mexico City, the guys who jump off of this pole, it's really cool. But I brought home from Mexico City, and I don't know if I gave it to you. Did I give it to you?
This bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where that is?
I don't.
Do you think it could be at like you didn't get rid of it? Maybe?
No.
Okay. Because I would love like that. It's a like now thinking back, I'm so glad I brought that all the way back from Mexico, because that's like it's a really traditional thing that they do there, and they do it like every single day, and they are not harnessed. Like it's
Wait. The thing I'm thinking about,
the guy on top is not harnessed.
Oh, okay.
He climbs up and down. Like it is crazy, and it's a small thing, and then they all like just come. It's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so I if I am over there, I might look for it just to see.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway.
Okay. I think that's pretty much everything that I have. Is there anything like, okay, have you ever seen those hard edits or like those really cool edits where it's like somebody says like something cool and smart, and then people take it and they put music over it, and then they put it on TikTok, and they just call it like an edit. Like that's it.
I don't
No.
know. Maybe like
Yeah, I think-
motivational speech.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You have anything like you want to let
Um,
rip? Because I was thinking it'd be so funny to just like start spewing a few things every podcast and like
I would
and hope
say,
that like something cool comes out.
Be observant. Apply the things you see, whether they're crazy or not. And be observant of the crazy.
That was awesome.
Plus respectful.
There you
Gain
go.
some insight to living life a different way.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Here's another video for you guys to watch if you want.
I'm honored to be the most so far. Oh, don't include it like that. I'm happy to have been the guest to get on the show this much. Oh, you should take a picture of my face this time.